make the realization that because I say so is not a sufficient answer. That is the core principle. Once you make that realization, everything else, both morally and in design, falls into place. There's no reason to accept because I say so is a good moral argument. And that sets you on the road toward a naturalistic ethics, just like it set you on the road to a naturalistic science. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I agree. Actually, I like Brian's theory of because I said so, stand up straight. I've never heard that as the theory of bipedalism. Very nice. We have solved many problems here today. Yes. Well, I guess I would agree with you. I don't see why, but I don't see how that holds up or defends Dawkins against Gould or whatever. I'm not sure it has. Honestly, I think Gould's problem was he was a very strong left-leaning, his politics is very strong left-leaning. He was one of those that had a very difficult time allowing evolution to apply above the neck. And therefore, because of very legitimate reasons of all the abuses of eugenics and so on, I can see why people were so cautious about that. But back in the 70s, when Ed Wilson published Sociobiology, and Gould and Lewontin went after him in the pages of the New York Review of Books, and they started that Orwellian science for the people at Harvard. Well, who else would it be for? I mean, but it has that kind of Cuban Marxist, for the people, taxi for the people, science for the people sort of thing. I think Gould never carried the arguments out like you just did right there, simply because of those reasons. And I think here I'll wax political for just a minute. Most scientists are academics. Most academics are liberals. Most liberals are uncomfortable applying evolutionary theory to the mind because it implies that we might have fixed natures that cannot be modified by political change, by political dictates. We're going to redistribute goods. We're going to impose certain rights on people and so on. Those aren't going to work if we're not really, really behaviorally flexible. This is the idea, and so I don't think it has to be that way, but that's what people think. And so I think it's rare for a scientist to actually come out and be more politically right, conservative, I mean. Yeah. And yet I wrote a whole chapter about this in Why Darwin Matters, and then a whole book about it on The Mind of the Market. That, in fact, I think there's a nice link between Adam Smith and Charles Darwin. By the way, I should note parenthetically, this is the 250th anniversary of Adam Smith's first book called The Theory of Moral Sentiments, which is actually very Darwinian, before Darwin, because of course we didn't know about this, but he just said, the first sentence in The Theory of Moral Sentiments, howsoever selfish we think humans are, there's this other side of us that is empathetic and sympathetic. We feel other people's pain. Why would that be? Where does that come from, he asks. And then 300 pages later, he's giving you the answer. And it is that we have this dual nature. We're selfish and tribal and all this, but we're pretty cooperative and nice and pro-social at other times. And the whole point of civil society is to structure it in a way to attenuate the one and accentuate the other. And anyway, so I think we can carry that out. I think we're supposed to stop, but we'll just be around. We can continue the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. We're going to do the drawing now. If my victim drawer is going to come up on stage here. If you haven't got your ticket in, it's too late. That's right. There's also the drawing at the educational table for the science educators, and we're going to be singing Happy Birthday in a second here. So, that's a good question. Bingo. We can take the top off, right? That would help.
McKinney from Roseville. Jeannie.
Janae McKinney. Janae McKinney, is she here? She's here? Yeah, that's the question. You're all convinced she's here, but I don't see anyone stepping forward. Janae McKinney, are you in the room? Please step forward. Thank you. Hey! All right, we have a winner. She is in the room. She's in the house. Okay, for the educational drawing, you can reach in again. Much smaller pile. Odds are much better here. Kind of like the Mexican lottery.
Chet Dixon.
Chet Dixon. Prize is a signed copy of Why Darwin Matters. I also want to mention there's an entire table full that will be signed by the author right over here to my right. Oh, pick another one.
Excuse me.
No, I'm sorry.
Some guys want to see your YouTube video. He wants. I told him you're.
Kasha.
He said I should put mine on. This is your beating.
Maslowski.
You know.
Kasha.
Kasha Maslowski, are you here? Did we mention there's cake? Later.
I think that's enough. I don't think we need to see the rest of that.
Try one more time.